In a bold stride for India's tech future, Google has launched a $15 billion AI hub in Visakhapatnam in Andhra Pradesh. Partnering with Adani Group and Bharti Airtel, this massive 5-year project will build India's largest AI data center campus powered by clean energy to supercharge Google services and fuel AI innovation for startups and businesses. Adani Connex drives the data center build, while Airtel's subsea cables and fiber network ensure lightning-fast global connectivity. Gautam Adani called it an investment in India's soul, with Google's Thomas Kurian noting it unlocks India's AI potential. Prime Minister Modi hailed the hub as a step towards a tech-driven Viksit Bharat. Creating thousands of jobs and cementing India's global tech leadership, construction begins in 2026, promising a future where AI empowers every Indian. Let's start off our conversation. Joining me on the telecast is Sharat Kohli. Sharat, quickly a response from you with regards to this big investment that has come in, an AI data center worth $15 billion. It's going to be the biggest one that Google has set up outside of America. It has set up 20 of these data hubs across the world up until now. What is the significance of it?
Absolutely phenomenal, I would say, mega, because not just because this is one of the largest outside US, but this also speaks about the belief that the tech world and a company like Alphabet, well, that's the company which owns Google, has on the Indian prowess. And that's the kind of faith which it has on the Indian skill, for that matter, because AI data center, we all know, requires a lot of energy. It's a very highly sophisticated computing center which is set up. And I think when off late we've been talking about these AI chatbots and so, we've been talking about how much energy it consumes. And Adani Group being connected to this project, being part of this project, will also bring in clean and green energy, because by the way, AI computer centers are not known for, not very popular with the energy saving, or shall we say, a pro-energy lobby which is there. So I think Adani Group's partnership in this will bring in green energy, and then speaks volumes about, I was calculating, it's about $3 billion per annum. We take $15 billion over the next 5 years. So on an average, $3 billion per annum. But more than the amount, I think this will open opportunities for India in establishing itself as an AI hub. Because AI and the fact that this is connected with undersea cables, there's a whole cable network. And on top of that, the fact that this is being set up in Visakhapatnam in Andhra Pradesh, where probably Google must have felt that there is enough pool of talent around the place. Obviously, it can bring anybody from anywhere. But then trapping that pool and being not too far from Bangalore, India's IT hub, and not too far from Chennai, this speaks volumes about the promise which South India has, for that matter, in developing IT in India and establishing IT. So all in all, a very welcome tech mega. It will open up new jobs. It will establish country's reputation as a very, very robust AI hub going forward.
Dr. Jaichit Bhattacharya, quickly a response from you as well with regards to why is it that India is a hugely attractive market, whether we talk about semiconductors, we talk about AI hubs that are being at this point of time set up in Andhra Pradesh, or we talk about manufacturing plants that are being set up, whether it's in Telangana or Andhra Pradesh?
Multiple reasons. I think let's start with the Google investment in an AI data center. As we all know, Google is very focused on ensuring that there is green energy coming in. Now, India has turned out to be a leader in green energy. A significant portion of our new energy that has come online has been green, thanks to this government's focus and the Prime Minister's focus on the green energy. Second, the scale that India brings in. Again, if you look at the Visakhapatnam data center, it's going to consume 1 gigawatt of electricity. Just to give a perspective, Delhi consumes 7 gigawatt of electricity, that too at peak time. So this is 1/7 the consumption of entire Delhi in just one data center, and India can provide that infrastructure. Similarly, the consumption in data center in India is enormous. So be it for data centers, be it for any other manufacturing products. So the domestic market provides the necessary economics that is needed to enable such investments, be it in Tamil Nadu or Visakhapatnam or anywhere else, to give a quick return on investments. Also, India is very plugged in with the rest of the world. Again, if you look at this data center that we're talking about, even though $15 billion is being invested in, a lot of this return is going back to US, and we don't have an issue with that. So India is plugged in. We gain from being integrated with the rest of the world. The rest of the world gains from being integrated into India, and there's a free flow of goods, people, and technology that India provides. So that regulatory environment has become more and more attractive. Also, as Sharad mentioned, that there is a lot of talent available. Such scale of talent is very difficult to have anywhere else. So it's not just the population, but trained population, scalable population. And what is also happening is that the more investments that's coming into India, the more skills India is gaining. For example, this is one of the largest data center that is getting created, and India did not have the skills to do it earlier. But once this is done, India will have the skills to set up the gigawatt scale data centers that is hardly there in anywhere else in the world outside of US and outside of China. That kind of scale does not exist.
I also have with me Mayurakshi Das. She's the founder and CEO of Elixir AI. And Mayurakshi, I do want to get your perspective with regards to how ripe is our economy when it comes to setting up massive AI data centers like Google at this point of time is doing here in India. How far away are we from indigenously building up such milestones?
I would like to say that while it's incredible that, multinational companies like Google are looking at India as emerging economies, etc. However, we really didn't need validation from Google or the US or anybody else to prove that we are an AI superpower. We have been, I think, for the last couple of years in terms of innovation, etc. Having said that, while you started this conversation by saying that this will create millions of jobs, which is great. Actually, it is great for the economy. However, being in this field, I am concerned about the quality of jobs that will be generated. I'm hoping that this is not again just Google is not doing this with just cheaper talent available in the masses, that India has helped the American counterparts in the past. I hope this is not about that, and this is genuinely about innovation. And given this data center now, here in proximity, I'm hoping innovation will get a boost. I'm also hoping that the entrepreneurial spirit of the young population is not taken away. They are not lured by just, joining Google or any company and curbing their entrepreneurship. So there are pros, but I think we need to think through this carefully.
Mitali is also on the telecast with me. Mitali, what's wrong in a multinational company in this regard, an American company that comes and sets shop in India and utilizes the advantages India has with regards to a huge population, which allows for rapid growth in internet user base that we have been witnessing over the course of several years now. And talking about low data cost, it is cheaper to find talent over here. It is cheaper to hire people. Does this also not give India an advantage that companies at this point of time are therefore taking by setting up supply chains, which again is to India's advantage?
No, absolutely. Thanks a lot for including me in the discussion. And, I do believe that this is a little bit of a two-sided coin situation. I mean, on the one hand, I think India can benefit immensely, which is why Prime Minister Modi also has met with, several of the tech CEOs in the past. He recently met with even the Anthropic CEO. And a lot of these messages have been conveyed to the tech companies by the government that, the kind of investments that they should be making here should not be short-term investments, should be longer-term investments, which should promote innovation in the overall tech ecosystem. It should not be just about, okay, you come in and you farm Indian data for improving, your own AI products, but rather, innovate with Indian companies in the tech ecosystem to create solutions, probably leveraging AI, probably leveraging Indian tech as well, and co-create those solutions for Indian businesses also. And I think that is the recipe for really bringing in jobs, bringing in innovation, bringing in new technologies which can actually be applied to the Indian ecosystem, and not only just being extractive of the data that Indian consumers or Indian persons can provide. And one very important thing here is the data protection laws that we have recently brought into India. I mean, the new data protection laws are fairly robust, and they will actually act as a very important safeguard. But at the same time, these data protection laws are not as restricted as Europe, where literally working and doing any sort of innovation in the tech space is almost impossible given the data protection acts that are prevalent in Europe. And in fact, the UK is another very important market. I've just come back from a very long trip in the UK, and we find that in the UK, they are really balancing data protection, data farming, and consumer interests. And I think India can learn a lot from that in terms of how do you balance the innovation with the rights of the consumer.
Okay. Dr. Sharad Kohli, quickly a response to me with regards to why does it take Google to set up such a massive plant in India? Are we as Indians fulfilling our potential of indigenously setting up data hubs, technology hubs, AI centers in our country?
Well, Megha, before I answer that question, the two learned ladies here, they have expressed their, a little bit of pessimism as well, that probably this could be a two-sided coin. Maybe pessimism may be a strong word, but two-sided. This could be extractive. They could be misusing, or they could be, using India's prowess or whatever. Well, to Mayurakshi's doubt, I mean, allow me to clarify. I mentor about more than a dozen startups in the Silicon Valley, and a lot of the founders of these startups, they have been working with OpenAI for some time, and it is only after their exposure at the data centers, by the way, it is only after working at their data centers that they had these innovative ideas, and they have started their ventures in different parts. So that I think it is not just about being clerical or doing something which is very, very routine, where you are just being used as a probably an operator for that matter. So they're not functioning as data operators. They're actually using their experience at these centers to do. And secondly, to Mitali's doubt about the data privacy, I would like to say that these data centers will be holding global data. It is not just about the Indian data. It is just the location of the data center is in India. They are connected by an undersea cable. So it'll be as good a data center as good it would be in Europe or somewhere in America. Answering your question, Megha, I think we have an AI startup called Perplexity. I think a lot of us use it also. Airtel gives it as part of the package. That is trying to focus on India data center development. And there are a lot of other AIs which are in the process of being set up that I know, Megha. So in the next few months, you will see Indian-made, Indian-established, Indian-based, Indian-domiciled AI startups, which will be focused. There's a lot happening on AI in Gurugram, in Pune, in Bengaluru, in Chennai, and a lot of other places. There's a lot happening there. So I think we'll just have to wait for a few months to see as to how Indians are innovating. And by the way, both OpenAI and some of at Google, at Microsoft, some of the promising brains behind these AI developments are Indians. And thanks to Donald Trump's H-1B thing, they will all be here now. They'll all be working from here. Even if they're working for America, you're going to see them working from here. So I think, Megha, I hope that answers your question. We don't have to be worried. In fact, all the ladies today somehow have expressed their reservations on the whole matter. And I'm so happy. I really appreciate their views. And I'm so happy that I managed to, even if I eliminate those doubts by 1%, Megha.
Okay, all right. On that note, Dr. Bhattacharya, I do want to understand, despite the warnings that have been issued by the US president that American companies need to prioritize domestic investment, we've seen Apple earlier we have Google. Do you think they are going to be facing repercussions, or Trump is smart enough to understand why is the need for these companies to set up huge, massive plants and centers such as these? Because it's at this point of time economies of scale that we are talking about.
Companies like Google existed before Trump came in, and they will hopefully exist after Trump is finished his term. And therefore, the policies that are transient in nature cannot be impacting the long-term views of these corporations, which are truly transnational corporations. If they need to leverage the market, not just in India, because if you look at Visakhapatnam, it's a center of Southeast Asia. It's not just India. It's middle of a $10 trillion economy, 5 trillion on the Indian side, roughly speaking, and 5 trillion on the the APAC side. If Google wants to really service this $10 trillion economy, which is fast growing, then it has to set up some kind of a facility locally in this region. If they're trying to carry enormous amount of data to Ireland or to US, which is where many of the data centers are, then that's going to be inefficient. It's going to require much more power to pump the data to Ireland than to do the processing in Visakhapatnam. Just to give an example or an idea of what does 1 gigawatt mean, 1 gigawatt will vaporize an entire building if that kind of heat is unleashed on that building. So to be able to manage that and engineer that, it requires a tremendous amount of engineering, and it needs to be set up in multiple places. It is not about what a policymaker wants, it's about what the market demands. And the market is a global market which Google wants to cater to. And thanks to that, it helps the Indian ecosystem to also pick up a lot of this engineering. It is not easy. It's almost like saying, if you were 5,000 years ago, if you look at the Egyptians and say, well, they built these big pyramids, why can't we build the same? They went step by step. They built a small pyramid, then a larger pyramid, and then the big pyramid. So we need to get that technology in order to be able to build the same thing. We had trigonometry. The Arabs had to pick it up, copy it, and only then they could build on top of it. So the flow of knowledge and information is a continuous process over thousands of years. That needs to continue irrespective of what the policymakers come and say. And I think it's a learning even for India that we must keep our doors and windows open so that we have the free flow of technology and information happening.
Mayurakshi, coming back to you, talking about the $10 trillion economy and the dream of Viksit Bharat 2047, do you think this investments such as these play a large role in us speeding up our pace to reach the $10 trillion mark and, of course, even rise above it?
Absolutely. On that front, as an economy, this is absolutely a boon. Like Dr. Kohli rightly said, this is going to hopefully stop the brain drain. We have Mr. Trump to thank for the H-1B visa restrictions. Really, one thing we have to thank him for. And this will absolutely help in boosting the economy. I can say every tech person out there, when they reach a particular stand, wants to buy a home, wants to buy real estate, etc. So I think all related kind of asset classes are going to get a huge bump up. And south of India and Visakhapatnam, I guess, are now the next places to be with one move like this.
Yeah. Mithali, why are investors and these global conglomerates attracted more to southern India?
So I think this is a really great question because I've been working in a number of cities now, and Vizag is one of the cities I've been working in very closely. Andhra Pradesh particularly provides a very supportive, policy environment. It's led by a very dynamic chief minister. We can see that, that is one. And it also has a port, which is very interesting because the Vizag economy currently really, circulates around the Vizag port. but this is actually a great way for Vizag to diversify its economy away from manufacturing and industrial development towards IT services, and now there's a clear movement away from Bangalore, because in Bangalore everyone realizes that there's been a lot of congestion. Mysore is really coming up again as an alternative to Bangalore in that way, and a number of data centers coming up in Mysore as well. But also, it's mainly because of the land regulations. I mean, data centers do require some amount of land, and that kind of regulatory environment only currently exists in the south. And there is only one North Indian state, I can say, which gives real competition, which is Rajasthan, because Rajasthan has a fantastic land regulation system amongst the northern states. So I think definitely the southern states providing that conducive business environment really attracts a lot of the tech people. Plus, of course, Bangalore being a hub, the fact that Bangalore started always, and then Chennai becoming a second hub, Hyderabad being a new hub. Definitely, Vizag is the next one that is going to come up on the agenda. And I would say the fifth city, which no one is yet predicting, is going to be Amravati, because Amravati is getting billions of dollars of investment. I was part of the team which has done the economic appraisal of Amravati recently, and we found that this is one city which is going to attract billions of dollars of investment in the IT sector and in the education sector. And this education and skilling is one of the big factors that attracts IT companies and tech companies, and now AI investments as well.
Yeah.
Because the workforce is skilled in the tech industry.
Absolutely. Dr. Kohli, quickly a response from you with regards to, you already mentioned, it's a boon in disguise that there have been these H1B restrictions is going to allow for more of our engineering talent to stay back in India. All these massive achievements and innovations that have been done by Indians living in Silicon Valley is something that is going to be replicated over here. So are we now hoping that the next AI innovation, perhaps humanoids that are going to be replicating in the human mind and becoming virtually clones of humans, could be something that could happen from India?
Well, definitely. I think, first of all, I hope Sundar Pichai is listening to Mitali. So next data center should be in Jaisalmer or somewhere in Rajasthan, so you could have that data center. Yes, absolutely. And I hope Donald Trump is listening to our debate. And I hope Donald Trump is aware of the phone call which Sundar Pichai made to the Prime Minister and this whole data center. I'm not sure how happy or unhappy he's going to be. I really don't know, because I have a new index now called Trump Mood Index, TMI, and I monitor that index every day. So we need to wait and see as to how he reacts. Is he okay with that? Is he okay with this kind of investment coming, or would he want this kind of investment to go back to? Now, I was trying to compare, Megha, that if this investment was made in Texas, or this was made in somewhere in California, or probably in any other state in America, then would it yield the same thing? When I did the costing, you'll be surprised that the costing was many, many times more than that. So therefore, yes, why not? Indian humanoids, why not tomorrow? And, India is going to become the next hub. And I'm sure this is going to be the regret of anyone who feels that India is incapable or India is not capable of doing that, and why are we looking at India and this and that. I think this is going to be a slap on the face of those people who have anti-India kind of sentiments, for that matter, Megha.
Right, absolutely. Jayajit, quickly a closing remark. How important does it become for an economy to become developed, to be in the race to become the most powerful, richest economy, fastest growing economy in the world? Are we now, we have the puzzle pieces, are we able to join them to see the larger picture?
No, of course, with the population of 1.5 billion roughly, there are 1.5 billion people doing the thinking, joining the pieces. As long as we stay united, which we are, and we have a very enthusiastic young population and a scientific bent of mind, which we have inherited over thousands of years, for sure we'll be stitching all of this together. We will reclaim our place in the Committee of Nations. We will be growing extremely fast and contribute back to the rest of the world, both in terms of technology and in terms of social development, growth, and a green economy, all of which we have already done in the last 10 years in terms of showing how much progress we can make. We have lifted hundreds of millions of people out of poverty. and we have used technology in every aspect of life. And just as you were mentioning about humanoids, it may not just be humanoid, it will be new kinds of things that India will be creating. There was no UPI before India created one. There was no concept of a centralized identification system such as Aadhaar before we made Aadhaar. And therefore, the future will also be determined and crafted by the minds in India and elsewhere in the world. But given the sheer weight of population we have, of highly trained people, much of the innovations will surely be coming from India, and we'll be putting and stitching the dots together, as you mentioned, Megha.
Right, absolutely. All right, I'm out of time. I thank all of you for joining me on the telecast and sharing your views and perspectives. On that note, I slip into a short break. Thanks for watching Newsx.